to the past, samurai jack. Gotta do that. Back to the past, samurai jack. Jack. Gotta do that. Back to the past, samurai jack. Gotta do that. Back to the past, samurai jack. Jack. Gotta do that. Jack. Gotta do that. Jack. Samurai jack.
Hello and welcome to the In My Defense podcast. It is I, your host, Christian, and it's week 10, folks. You know how it goes. Every fifth episode will be a subject of my choice to give myself a chance to really geek out on something and really share what my favorite aspects of existence really are, the things that make me who I am. And this one is probably going to be the most specific episode yet. Samurai Jack was one of my favorite cartoons when I watched it as a kid. It's probably still one of my favorite cartoons. I own the DVDs. I've watched them a million times. And this episode is going to be about one specific episode, probably my favorite episode of Samurai Jack. And this is episode 40. Samurai Jack XL, Samurai Jack versus the Ninja. For those of you that might not be too familiar, this one is probably one of the best influences in my when it comes to my love of animation and storytelling without necessarily having dialogue. I think it's a perfect example of that. I brought on one of my best friends, if not my best friend in the world, Anna Montez. She came on the episode to discuss it. She's seen it before. Samurai Jack wasn't one of her favorites, but she appreciates the episode for what it is, and she was great to have on. She's definitely one of the smartest people I know, and her insight is really valuable to me, and I hope it will be valuable to other people listening to this too. But that's how it works, folks. I bring on people I like, people that are cool, people who can really express themselves when it comes to their love of specific genres and shows and movies and weird little things that I'm hoping I can cover forever. InMyDefensePodcast.com. There's actually a form on the show now if you want to apply to be on. I'll get more specific about that at the end of the episode. But yeah, any questions, inmydefensepodcast@gmail.com. You can reach me out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever your particular favorite social media poison happens to be. Let's not waste too much time, folks, and get right into Samurai Jack XL. So we'll get right into it. All right, so I am here with literally one of my best friends in the entire world, Anna. Anna, say hi to everybody.
Hi, everyone. Hello.
And we are going to talk about Samurai Jack, episode 40, season 4, episode 1, Samurai Jack XL, Jack versus the Ninja. And this is another one of my choices. This is another episode where it's about me, where I get to choose what it's about. And I wanted to talk about this episode. But first, before I get into why, Anna, what's your, I know you've seen the show and you saw this episode, but, did you watch Samurai Jack regularly when it was out?
No, I think I've watched, random episodes, over the past 20 years or something like that. But I never followed it, to be honest. And honestly, now that I rewatched this episode, I don't think I had ever seen it before, so I was basically watching it for the first time. It's a lot more violent than I remember. I was like, yeah, I have watched that, and then I'm like, wait a second.
But it's really mostly violent against robots, so that made it perfectly okay.
I mean, that's a way to see it. But okay.
Robots are not people, Anna.
I mean, that's your imagination. That's your point of view.
But I wanted to talk about. I love this show, and I wanted to talk about it. Maybe not necessarily the whole season, because that would have just been a tantamount amount to talk about. Mm-hmm. But I decided I want to do one episode, because this episode literally was the inspiration for my entire love of storytelling and animation since I saw it. Since I saw it when I was 12 years old, and I see those last like 5 minutes, that last 5 minute fight scene. I'm like, slack jawed, and my tape it over and it was such a good show when I came out. And for those who don't know, Samurai Jack was a show that it went 4 seasons, 13 episodes each season, and they revived it back in 2017 for a 5th season to conclude the story on Adult Swim. And if you thought the cartoons in the 2000s were violent, you should see the Adult Swim ones.
Honestly, I'm probably like, now that I've watched one episode and I remember, I actually like this, I'm probably gonna go back and watch all of it. I'm gonna add it to my list of things that need to be watched, but I always just rewatch the same 4 shows. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, so in total there's about 52 episodes total, and for those who don't know what the story of the show is, basically a long time ago in a distant land,
Aku, the shape-shifting master of darkness, unleashed an unspeakable evil. But a foolish samurai warrior wielding a magic sword stepped forth to oppose me. Before the final blow was struck, I tore open a portal in time and flung him into the future, where my evil is law. Now the fool seeks to return to the past and undo the future that is Aku.
And I did not read that. That's
That's in your brain.
That is the entry that I've listened to hundreds of times. That opens up the show every single episode.
I actually really enjoy the fact that they have, I forgot this, like, I don't know, I don't watch any new cartoons, I think, but I really enjoyed, like, in that era, like late 90s, early 2000s, like they always would have like an intro of like, this is all you missed, but this is also in every single episode, because it doesn't matter in what order you watch it. So I was like, okay, I remember kind of like the premise of the show. He's a time traveling samurai that's trying to go back so he can stop this guy and all of that. But I actually really appreciated the, like, this is what you missed. This is what the show is about. You dumb bitch that haven't watched it in 20 years.
Well, I think that was something about the show. Like, before we start talking into the events of the episode proper, I think it's cool to talk about the show itself. So the show was produced and ran by Genndy Tartakovsky, and Genndy Tartakovsky is an artist who had a hand in like almost so many major animated properties that we're all familiar with. Like, he's worked on Batman the Animated Series. He's known for
Clone Wars.
He did the Star Wars Clone Wars miniseries, like those 5-minute episodes that were really awesome. He did Powerpuff Girls. He did Dexter's Lab before he did Samurai Jack. He's currently doing Primal on Adult Swim, which I have to start, I really want to check out. Yeah, he's done a whole bunch of stuff. Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy to some degree. Like, he's had some hand in so many properties over the last like 30 years, which is really awesome. And when he started doing the shows right after doing Dexter's Lab,
which I love.
Yeah, Dexter's Lab was a great show. And going into this one, they wanted to do a show that was very like visually striking, one that didn't rely on dialogue to get a lot of ideas across. And you'll see that they do that almost every single episode. Like, I think in this one episode there's less than 10 lines of dialogue just in this episode that we're talking about, which is below average for the show overall. But the show is also just known for these long sequences where there's absolutely no one saying anything, and it's just all done on-screen action. And even if you go back and watch like those Star Wars Clone Wars episodes, it's very little dialogue in those as well. He definitely wanted to get across the idea that you don't need to necessarily like handhold people through a story to get these ideas across, which I was really appreciative of. And finding out like that was the idea going into the show, it just made so much more sense, and it made my brain explode as to like what kind of ways that you can get a story across and how many different ways you can do it, and playing with the medium that you're working with, because it totally makes sense. Like, if you're doing a cartoon, there is no reason to ever do something in animation if someone doesn't have to be looking at the screen to know what's going on. right? Like if everything that's happening in a story can be done just through the dialogue, there's really no point for it to be animation. If you want them to experience the whole thing, you have to use that animation somehow to
I have the attention span of a 3-year-old child. So when I'm watching TV, I usually am doing something else, like playing Candy Crush, eating shit on my phone. And it's just, I need to be doing something with my hands while I'm watching TV in order to concentrate. But with this, I actually had to be paying attention, because otherwise I wouldn't have gotten like any of it.
Yeah. And like, it's funny, like there's probably in this one episode in particular, you probably would have gotten certain things, because it is kind of a story told in, I think there's probably 2 acts to the story.
Yeah.
In this one episode.
I would say there's 3.
Like, yeah, I think the first and the second really bleed into each other very well, and then the final sequence of the episode could be its own thing altogether.
Yeah, I think for me it's first basically introducing this random guy that's coming to kill Samurai Jack, and then him in the background when Samurai Jack is saving the kid, and then the actual like fight with the aliens, and then the fight against this dude.
Yeah.
I have an English degree. I know words, and I'm showing none of that.
That's what That's what happens whenever you hit the recording button. Do you have any idea how many nonsense things I've had to edit out that I've said? I hate myself. It is a miracle that no one has murdered me for the way I speak up until this point.
I mean, nothing is going to be as bad as when I found out.
Our secret episode that we recorded where.
So when Chris was first setting up, I'm just gonna tell a story. When Chris was first setting up the podcast, he was like, okay, let's do like a trial run. So we talked about Ocean's 11, which is one of my favorite movies. And I rewatched it that day, and I even read like the Wikipedia page. I was like, oh, there's a lot of details I don't remember, so I'm gonna watch the movie and read more about it. And then while we're recording, we're talking about the cast, and Chris says, oh, delayed Bernie Mac. And I'm like, wait, delayed? And Chris is like, yeah, because he passed away. And I was like, Bernie Mac died?
What's crazy to me now is that you didn't tell me that you actually did some research. I thought we were just going into it. So the fact that you researched Ocean's 11 and never came across the information that Bernie Mac died.
I don't even know what to say about myself. I don't know what to say about myself. I think about this a lot. Not gonna lie, it's probably going to be like, I'm gonna be on my deathbed and I'm gonna be thinking about like the never published episode of In My Defense podcast where I like let people know I didn't know about Bernie Mac dying.
Now I feel like that episode has to be published at some point now, just because we've talked about it, and maybe one day if I ever do like a special thing, one day.
Disclaimer: I'm so much smarter than I sounded there.
We were tired. It was the first time recording anything for me.
That's true.
So we can start going into this episode. So it does open up with the ninja stalking Jack seemingly while he's praying at a temple. And again, I don't know if I said it before, but like, we're doing one episode just because why not? You know, I want this show to be as specific or as vague as anybody wants it to be. So if anybody ever wants to be on a show in the future and you want to talk about like a 5-minute sequence in your favorite movie, or if you want to talk about, I just released an episode about the trailer for the Batman. So I can do it. If I can do a whole hour on 2.5 minutes, I can definitely do a whole hour on 22.
100%.
Yeah, it opens with the ninja stalking Jack and then him killing Jack. And then Jack gets cut in half and it's real. This Jack was a robot. It was a simulation. And I don't remember my whole experience watching the show when I was a kid. When I was not even a kid, just like a preteen. I don't remember this being shocking, right? Because even then I knew, oh no, you don't kill the hero of the story in the first 30 seconds. Of a new season, so like it wasn't too much of a trick. I knew it had to be something. Oh, this is an illusion. Oh, this is actually like Jack killing like an evil version of Jack or something. I knew I wasn't fooled by this opening.
I wasn't fooled, but I was definitely like, what the heck is going on?
Then Aku comes out to congratulate his new warrior. Aku voiced by Makoto Iwamatsu, also known as Mako, who is known probably more known nowadays for being the voice of Uncle Iroh in Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh,
Yeah, he unfortunately
interesting.
passed away during that show, so he
Oh.
actually had a pupil who took over for him.
Oh.
So like in the second half of the series, Uncle Iroh's voice changes a little bit, so that's why it's a different guy. So yeah, Mako was the voice of Aku, and I think it was his pupil again who took over for him when they brought the show back in 2017. But yeah, this episode only has 3 voice actors. Mm-hmm. And there's 5 characters with speaking roles. So I think Phil Lamar does Jack, and he did a voice for one of the villagers that speaks up later on. And then Tara Strong, who is a voice actress that a lot of people are familiar with. She did the Powerpuff Girls. She was Batgirl in Batman the Animated Series. She also took over for Harley Quinn a little bit later in life for like the video games and stuff like that. But she does the voice for the little boy and the little boy's mother. But yeah, in 22 minutes, there's only 3 voice actors on this episode, and that was the thing with this show back then, where like I'm more familiar with voice actors in like the 90s and the early 2000s than I am, I think, nowadays. Mm-hmm. Just because like those same people are still working today. I think there's like Kevin Michael Richardson was a guy that was on this show all the time. Basically everybody was on rotation through all like your favorite cartoons when you're watching in the 90s. I think I remember Tom Kenny, the voice of SpongeBob. I remember his voice popping up a couple times during this show.
Yeah, I think a lot of the same actors overlap across like all of these shows that were really popular at the time.
Yeah. One, because it's easier to probably pay one person to do several things than it is to hire a whole bunch of other people. And 2, because voice actors don't get paid that much anyway, so they just got to spread themselves out as much as they can. So then Aku sends his ninja out into the world to go take Jack out, and again I want to talk about like the animation of this episode a little bit, just like how pretty and how like you could pause during any moment of this show, and it's a canvas. It is a beautiful masterpiece of art. Genny Tartakovsky's guy who's very much like. He's very much a storyboard artist where like set pieces have like these very iconic looks to them, and one of the cool things about this show in particular was how it was Jack traveling all around the world. And it's a world that has like a magical and a technological future, so there's different kinds of settings all over the place. He'll be one episode he'll be in the middle of a city, in a high tech city with flying cars all over the place, and people are fighting each other with laser guns. And the next he'll be out in the middle of the jungle and come across some 10,000-year-old ruins and face off against some magical demon creatures, which was really cool. So the show was able to play around with a lot of different settings, and just by the premise of it, you have this warrior who has to like travel around the world trying to find a way to get back home, and it's just a really cool idea. Like going back to like Akira, there's 2 Akiras I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of Akira Toriyama, which was the anime guy, and now I'm forgetting the name of the samurai director.
Akira
Kurosawa. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
The two Akiras.
That's something I found interesting, because now you mentioned that he'll be in a jungle and he's fighting these monsters or something, but in this case you had like a village that's like in a coast, and then you have this like very like mechanical technological villains with aliens that are just kind of like machines, like robots. So like that contrast was fun. Yeah,
and we know why all the villains are always robots. Like even when he gets into saving the village from these giant crab monsters, like even though these giant lobsters are robots, just because like it's a kid show in the early 2000s, so they couldn't really get away with cutting, and when your hero has a sword and he's the best at using a sword, you can't really have a guy going off cutting people's limbs off.
Yeah, never. That only works with like Happy Tree Friends, which we were all too young to watch.
Yeah, Happy Tree Friends was not for kids either. So
I was watching this thing with the creator the other day, and he's like, "Yeah, we were hoping like like tweens and teens would watch it," and I was 7 years old watching that with my brother.
Because I think Happy Tree Friends, I'm a little bit older than you, so Happy Tree Friends got popular when I was like in middle school, and that was around the time where I think it was cool to watch something like that. Like, oh yeah, you want to gross one of your friends out, just like show them this video of this little kitten and a moose out for a picnic, and oh my god, why is he chopping his head off?
So much blood.
Did the show came off as violent to you? You said.
Yeah, it was a lot more violent than I remembered. Especially like the fight scene. It was not so much the part with the big robots, because those are just like, wait, I'm so dumb. My thoughts are all over the place. Yeah, it was a lot more violent than I remembered. Especially because
it was actually more. Well, so it was actually the ninja fight was more violent
yeah,
to you
the
than the
ninja
crab
fight was a lot more violent to me because the ninja looked like a person. So that just aesthetically like looks a lot more realistic and a lot more violent. And this guy's fighting gigantic robot crabs, which you're like, oh yeah, that's fake. The whole thing is fake, but you know what I mean. But then when he's like actually fighting, they're fighting with their swords and all that part. That part looks a lot more. It reminded me a lot more of the movies, like the martial art movies that I would watch growing up. So that part was definitely looked like a lot more violent and realistic to me. And in the context of a cartoon, because obviously it's not that realistic, but
yeah. That's an interesting way to think about it, because I didn't really see it as well. I saw the crab fighting, him fighting the giant lobsters is more violent than fighting the ninja actually, just because up until the very end, neither one of them actually hit each other.
Yeah.
Whereas when Jack was fighting the crabs, he was slicing them apart left and right, and I don't know if that's something on me where it's like, okay, so. It's all violence to me. I don't even see it all. I didn't even see it all as violence, because I saw the Jack ninja fight as more like a dance.
Yeah.
that might be my weird American sensibilities, where oh yeah, if no one's dying, it's not violent. It's not violent until someone gets hurt.
Well, yeah. I mean, he does get hurt at the end.
At the very end, but it's but so it has that's I think that's in my thing is that's one violent moment versus several violent moments happening previously.
Yeah.
It wasn't violent up until the guy gets cut in half. But yeah, so the ninja eventually finds Jack in the jungle, and we see all these really gorgeous set pieces. And right when the ninja's about to strike, we hear the most annoying scream in the entire world as this little boy comes trailing through the jungle being chased by these crab monsters.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Actually, as I was watching it, I was kind of, from the point of view that I had not watched the show in so long, and I also I had never watched this episode specifically, I was kind of expecting the robot to become good. And to be like, oh, he's helping people. He's not bad. Why would I kill him? Because I had also forgotten that he was a robot and it's a cartoon and he was a bad guy. I was kind of waiting for an anti-hero moment to happen for some reason.
What's funny is that I bet if we had never gotten the 5th season of the show, if this show had been done 15 years later, it might have been something like that. I can totally imagine a Steven Universe episode happening where some evil gems come out to attack Steven. And well, I mean that is actually every episode. In the show Steven Universe, which I love. But in the show, it's one of my favorite shows after I saw the whole thing, and that in that show every villain eventually learns to love Steven and take care of him.
No, I can't do that. I can't do that. I need terrible people in a show. I need bad people to be bad. Even though I hope for them to be good.
Well, I think we have enough of that with live action TV. I don't really want that to be my kids' thing. But I think that was really common across all action oriented cartoons, right? It was oh yeah, the bad guys are definitely bad and you have to slice them. So I think if the show had been done today, it definitely would have been the ninjas be having a change of heart after seeing Jack save all these people.
That's honestly what I was waiting for. I was because you see Jack saving the kid and then fighting the lobster things, and that's juxtaposed with the view of the ninja just lurking and the all dressed in black with the red eyes. So I was kind of hoping, I was oh, maybe he's gonna be good. He's gonna be oh man, he's helping people. Why would I kill that guy?
Hey, I wouldn't have been mad at that. I think some of my favorite stories are the ones where nothing can beat the power of friendship.
I mean,
those are some of my favorite stories of all time.
I can only think about Avatar in that context. That's all I can think about.
Well, even in Avatar, he still had to beat the Fire Lord.
Yeah.
And I don't think they became friends by the end of that. I'm taking away all your power.
Friendly.
It's like if well, let's see. This episode will be coming out before the election. It'd be as if someone just be like, "All right, Trump's not president anymore. You can now he works at a McDonald's. Now he's a manager at a McDonald's for the rest of his life."
Oh my god, I would pay to see that.
That's what I imagined happened to the Fire Lord in Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like he gets put in jail, he serves his time, and then he just ends up becoming like a fish cook.
Yeah, he's like, I just need a job. Who's hiring? Gotta pay the bill. Gotta pay the rent.
Yeah, there's someone who really looked up to the Fire Lord who never really liked Fire Lord Zuko, so they just kind of like gave the old Fire Lord a job.
They're like, I mean, I see where he's bad, but he's not that bad.
And plus, he can't shoot fire anymore. Spoilers for Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Spoilers. I mean, honestly, if you need like a spoiler warning when the show has been out for... Yesterday, I realized that I was in sixth grade 15 years ago, and I had a meltdown. But the show has been out for like 19 years.
Oh, well, no, probably a little bit, maybe a little bit less.
Maybe a little bit less.
But the show is definitely a teenager.
Yeah.
But it also just came out on Netflix, so I know a lot of people were seeing it for the first time.
Yeah.
When it just came out on Netflix.
I hate it when I Google Avatar and it shows me the James Cameron movie. Like, who knows that? Who remembers that? Not me.
Anna, he's already planned out a second, third, fourth, and fifth sequel.
We don't need that. There are things that we need in this world. That is not one of them by far. If you told me, hey, there's a movie that needs a sequel, name it. I'll be like, Aliens versus Cowboys, maybe. Not Avatar.
I didn't think anybody would ever ask for Jon Favreau's Cowboys versus Aliens 2.
Why not? Okay. Okay, so it's 15 years old.
I was thinking like around 2005,
so
2006.
it can vote yet, but it definitely is forming a political ideology.
And probably a drinking habit.
I mean, yeah, that's like, you have to.
All right, so the kid, so Jack takes out the crab monsters for the kid. The kid takes him to his village where more of the crab monsters are attacking, and Jack, without hesitation, goes running after it. And it's a funny thing. I watched the episode a couple times leading up to this, and I think there's a moment when they're running and the ninja is running after them, and I think this is the moment where the ninja loses. I think this is the moment, we all know Jack's going to win in the end, but I think this is the moment where it actually does happen, because Jack shows a moment where he realizes that he's being followed. Mm-hmm. Like, he turns around, and I don't know if he sees the ninja himself, but he definitely knows that someone is stalking him. And I think this is the moment where the ninja's like, where the ninja can't win anymore, because now that Jack sees you coming, you're dead. That's it. It's all over.
Yeah, you lost the surprise element to it.
Yeah, the show has established that, like, Samurai Jack is the most badass guy in the world, and he has a magical sword that can cut through anything. So, like, and this is very much a Batman-esque story, because as soon as Batman knows you're coming, it's done, it's over. And Jack trained in all kinds of techniques all over the world. He is completely prepared for anyone bringing a physical attack against him. So as soon as Jack notices the ninja while he's running to save the village, it is over for that ninja. And I think that is the moment in this episode where the bad guy loses. But Jack goes to the village, and then again, to me this was a more violent moment in the show, where it's just straight up 5 minutes of Jack tearing through giant crab monsters, rescuing this village. I'm wondering what like the story behind these things are, because they're robots. And again, I don't want to put too. That's exactly what this episode. I'm going to put too much thought into this, because
that is it. I feel like putting too much thought into it is the whole point of this podcast.
Yeah, somebody built those things.
Yeah, they did.
And it could easily be. I mean, one thing I love about the show is that it never gets explained. This is just a world that exists, and there are robot creatures are just as common as living meat creatures, and they have much reason to exist as the living meat creatures do. And I imagine like somebody built like one robot crab monster. It was like as a joke or for some kind of experiment, and then it achieved its sentience and started rebuilding its own, and that's how they reproduce. They like that one giant crab in the end of the fight was the queen.
Yeah.
and it doesn't even lay them. It doesn't lay out more robots. It meticulously builds with those giant crab claws. It builds them out of parts that it finds at the bottom of the ocean. That is my headcanon.
Jesus. I have a couple of things there were thoughts I had watching the show. It's not things that I disliked. It's more of things that I usually look for in a character. I think Samurai Jack needs more flaws. He's too good. Yes, it's, the show came out 20 years ago. Last season came out 3 years ago. We are way past that. But I wasn't against on your podcast then.
No, yeah, go ahead. But I think that is something that becomes true in the fifth season, in the new season. We definitely see Jack as more of a troubled figure, and his arc in the final season is because in the fifth season he's been Samurai Jack for 50 years. He's lost all hope in ever going home and saving the world. And the season becomes him regaining that hope and finally being able to end his story some way or another. So it does get to that eventually. When it comes to but yeah, you're right. When it came to the show proper, there are very few moments where Jack falters in his resolve, where he is the number one. He is the best fighter in the world, and he's the only one that can defeat Demon God.
Demon God.
There were a couple of, like, if I hadn't done this episode, there is one I would have done that was in season 1, where it's like the 8th episode where Jack fights off against an evil version of himself. Basically, Aku realizes that after sending a bunch of bounty hunters after him, Aku realizes the only person who can beat Jack would probably be Jack. So he takes all the anger and darkness from Jack's soul, and he creates an evil version of Jack called Mad Jack, and he sicks that on him. And so and the show, and it does very much what this episode does, where there's a final fight sequence where it's these two Jacks, and they're going at each other with everything they got, but it's an even match. Like they're fighting so hard that the forest around them gets set on fire.
Isn't that just the concept of that Gemini Man movie with Will Smith?
Maybe.
Isn't that just?
I didn't see that.
The concept? I mean, me neither, but I've seen the ad. I saw the trailer.
No, this wasn't a teenage version of Jack. This wasn't Jack Fresh Prince. This was Mad Jack. And in the end of that episode. In the end of the episode, the only dude, Jack, unable to beat his evil version, realizes that the only way to defeat this dark version of himself is to release all that darkness within his own soul and just find peace within, and that's how he ends up destroying him. Not in a fight, but just by like meditating.
That's so peaceful.
I mean, so the show does it every once in a while.
Yeah.
The show is very, like, he'll have an arc, like a short little arc where he has to learn something about himself to continue. But yeah, he's very much.
Don't we all?
He's very much that Superman-esque character where it's like this is the guy that he's Captain America. He always knows what the right thing to do. He mostly knows what the right thing to do is, and when it comes to like physical combat, there is no match.
Yeah, maybe I'm asking too much for like a main character in a kid's cartoon to be flawed, to have like to not be good all the time, but I feel like that's asking too little, because I really I always like the idea of like kids characters, and me being a comic book fan, I know very much so that comic books are for babies. Cartoons are for babies. It does not mean adults cannot enjoy them. Cartoons are for babies.
It does not mean that adults cannot enjoy them. I very much enjoy several animated series and have grown up on them, and I am doing a podcast on one right now.
Yeah.
But I have no problem with like kids seeing like these aspirational figures to look up to, because like we have enough people to look up to that are end up being terrible people in the end of the day anyway. So.
100%. I mean, every time I open Twitter and there's like somebody I admire like trending, I'm always like, oh, what did they say? Like, for example, the person who shall not be named. Every time they're trending, it's never good.
Well, when they're trending now, it's because they're sick. So that's actually pretty good news.
I'm not gonna comment on that for personal reasons.
So yeah, like there are moments in the show where Jack it does question resolve his question, but most of the time, yeah, you're right. He is very much like a perfect hero.
Yeah. Now that I said what I didn't like, I will say the whole episode felt very like cartoon ASMR. Like no dialogue, not a lot of like background music even, especially for the fight part, like the last 5 minutes of the episode. Even though I watched this morning, I'm now very confused if there's actually music or I just like made that up.
Very little.
Very little,
right.
yeah.
Was very, like, and some of the music that you get across the episode is actually really awesome.
Yeah,
but yeah, there are noticeable moments in the show where things go quiet.
Yeah, I really enjoyed just the fight, like the sound of his shoes, the sound of the swords, like all of that. It really added to the whole ambience of this scene. In a way.
Yeah, now you think, the show is very relaxing. Now you mentioned, just like with the sound design and the sound of Jack's sandals clicking across the stone floor.
Mm-hmm.
The clanging of the swords. Yeah, I can see someone like for anyone who's not aware, this show is now on HBO Max. So it's available for anybody that has it. I have the DVDs, but for some reason my PS4 would not play it. You stupid machine. Because I wanted to listen to the commentary that they do on it, but I didn't get a chance. But yeah, I got the DVDs a long time ago, and I don't have a DVD for season 5, which I should probably get. Yeah, I got the ones for Avatar too, and Korra.
I've been meaning to rewatch Avatar actually, but as I said, I have the attention span of a baby. And every time I'm confronted with like a lot of episodes of a thing, I'm always like, do I have the will to watch that? The answer is usually yes, but why risk it if I can just rewatch the same 7 seasons of the same show?
Usually the best motivation I've had for rewatching a series that I like is either there's a podcast doing a retrospective on it.
Yeah.
Or a YouTube video doing the same thing, like reactions on YouTube or something like that.
I am really enjoying
I like watching other people or seeing other people experience something I like for the first time.
Yeah, I get that. But I'm also always scared of like showing people things I love. Like yesterday, my mom was like, let's watch a movie because it's your birthday. And I was like, okay, let's do that. I was going to show her Midsummer, which is probably like my favorite movie from the last 5 years. But then I remembered, one, that she would probably hate it. 2, that sex scene. I'm a 26-year-old woman, but I do not want to sit with my mother throughout that scene. So I was like, you know what? Let's not show her that. So we watched The Silence of the Lambs.
Oh yeah, that's much more family friendly.
No, she does love it though. I mean, this is the woman that made me read The Godfather when I was like 13. So.
No, yeah, your mom's a badass.
Yeah, she is something definitely. I honestly admire your ability to just want people to see things you love. Because I definitely have issues with that. Like even to show like somebody a song before I show them the song, I'm like, I listen to it again and I'm like, I need to make sure that it's like an absolute bob. No questions asked, like just a bob.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, there's still I just like a lot of things.
I know you do.
So like, there's still a lot of things that I like that I'm not really willing to share with other people just yet. But it'll probably. I mean, I'm gonna run out of ideas for episodes eventually. We'll get there.
Yeah. Maybe. You never know.
So Jack is regarded as a hero to the village for saving them from these giant crab monsters that just wanted to live. They were just seeking sentience. And I'm making up a backstory in my head. They just wanted to have a life living in peace in this village, and was a whole misunderstanding was this fight. Jack's a murderer, is what I'm saying. But everybody's happy. They give Jack food and gifts and a pig, and then he hears a scream and he books it, and it turns out that the mother of the boy that had come to Jack has been kidnapped and taken to a tower further down the beach, and Jack follows the footprints there to the tower. I don't know what this tower is. Again, this is another thing about this world that they've established in the show where there's just random things all over the place, and because they've probably been there for thousands and thousands of years, no one really needs a reason for it to be there, which is pretty genius.
I want to think that it's probably like exactly like a remain of like a previous civilization.
Yeah.
Like it was probably like a Marriott or something.
Or like maybe even a giant sundial. The way the light hits it's really weird.
Yeah.
But Jack goes inside, and this is where we get the ASMR, like click, clack, click, clack of his sandals on the floor of the tower. And he looks up and he sees the boy hanging from a rope on one of the beams. And I forgot how scary this looked. I probably wouldn't have thought the kid was dead watching this when I was a kid. But you see the body of a boy hanging from a rope.
Yeah,
and
it was definitely a striking moment.
Yeah, I don't know if we're supposed to think that the ninja hung the boy and hung him to death, but it definitely is like all you see is his silhouette when he looks up, and it very much like was evocative of that kind of imagery. But no, a split second later they show the kid is still alive. Jack goes up to one of the beams to untie him when and again there's no dialogue up until the mom tells Jack that her boy is gone. There's only one more line for the rest of this episode. Only one more spoken line for the rest of this episode. Also, all this is done. Everything is done without dialogue and just sound design. But Jack goes to untie the boy, and he sees in the reflection of the boy's scared eyes the ninja coming up behind him. And in that split second, Jack manages to knock the boy out of the way, get out of the way, and the ninja disappears into the shadows.
Yeah, that part was kind of scary. Not gonna lie.
Huh?
That part was kind of scary. I was like, what is it? Where is it? I know he said, but where?
And you see in slow motion, like when the ninja comes up, you see the reflection of Jack's face in the boy's eyes, and Jack first a shock, and then like anger and resolve, and in a split second later, Jack gets out of the way. But yeah, the ninja disappears into the shadows. He frees the boy and tells him to run. Which I guess that was the only other line that he spoke, and then Jack is on the defensive, right? He knows the ninja is in the shadows somewhere, but he can't tell, and so whenever the ninja comes into the light to attack him, Jack is constantly on the defensive and unable to get a foothold on him. Once Jack realizes what's going on and what he needs to do, and he comes up on a beam, and this is where we get the final spoken line of the episode.
Shinobi, warrior of the night. Trained to use the darkness of the shadow. I know your arts as well. But I have been trained to use the light.
And Jack what's funny to me, go ahead.
I have a thing to say regarding this scene.
I know
exactly what I'm going to say. Like, he's fucking ripped. I was like, why did they make him so hot? Like, there were two parts in the whole episode that I was like, why is he so hot? What is going on right now? Like, first when he rescues the woman from the beach, like he like carries her out and his hair is like all down and like wet. I was like, that's kind of hot. And then when he's like, oh, I'm a warrior of light, blah, blah, blah. And he like takes off the things. I was like, are we doing this right now? What's happening? And he's like fucking ripped.
And the line he says is like, I have also been trained in your ways. Takes off his coat.
Was like unnecessarily sexy.
And now we have the third possible ending. So like one ending, Jack kills a ninja. Second ending, the ninja goes good and saves the village. Third ending, Jack hooks up with the ninja.
I mean, honestly, all of those would have checked out. I would have been like, yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, Jack reveals that in his time training all around the world, he was also trained in the ways of the ninja, of the shinobi, but instead of hiding in the darkness, he has learned to hide in the light, which seems a lot harder.
Yeah.
That seems a lot more difficult, right? Nobody can see in the dark. It's easy to hide in the dark. No one can see in the dark.
Your eyes eventually adjust to it.
Yeah, but even then, like, you can't see everything in the dark. And like, especially someone who's wearing like black or dark blue, they just become everything is shadow. You can, if you dress like a shadow, you just hide in the shadows, and everything is a shadow. But hiding in the light, everybody can see in the light. That is how light works. That's how we see. We use light. How much of a badass ninja do you have to be able to hide
in the light,
bright light?
The entire scene was like striking. It was such a beautiful scene, especially when you like have the setting sun, and then it goes back to the fight and then back to the sun. That entire part was so beautiful.
And yeah, this sequence is why I want to talk about this episode, because it's this. The contrast goes way up, and once Jack is dressed fully in his white ninja attire, and it becomes Jack versus the ninja, it is everything in the scene goes black and white, and Jack and Ninja both become silhouettes, and you only see them when they're in their opposite colors. So you only see Jack when he's in shadow, and you only see the ninja when he's in the light.
Yeah. There was a part that they did like a white outline for the ninja, and I wish they hadn't done that. Because for Jack, you just have like him in white, and then as he goes through the white part, you don't see him. Then you see him when he gets to the dark part. And for the ninja, they actually had like a white outline when he was in dark. So I wish they hadn't do that. They had not done that. I think it would have been better.
If I remember correctly, I think they only did that when their swords clashed. So I think it was literally like the spark coming from their swords that was actually shining the ninja. Because otherwise, when they're going back and forth, you don't actually see the ninja in the dark until like either their swords are clashed against each other.
Okay, strike that then. Strike everything I said. Forget about it.
No, but it was an easy one of those things because this is a very detailed scene, and it is such a cool idea. Mm-hmm. This was the scene that, like, if I had any artistic talent whatsoever, this was the scene that would have made me want to get into animation. This, like, being able to tell this story with no dialogue, it is just done totally in action, and done in such a stylistic way, where it's like, because we're not literally seeing what is happening, right? Because we know that in the world of this show, the entire world did not just go black and white, right? So what we see on the screen while this fight is happening is just strictly all metaphor.
Yeah.
Like it's all symbology. We're only seeing really the idea of the scene. We're only seeing what we're supposed to feel, and it's such a cool idea.
It's so fucking cool.
Playing around with the medium of storytelling, and like I love it when this is done in movies. I love it when it's done in cartoons, shows. Like any time you can take a medium for what it is and then upend that and really change it and experiment with it, I am all for it 100%. I love changes. I love people like challenging what makes a cartoon, what makes a movie. Like, those are some of my favorite moments in all kinds of storytelling, and it blows my mind every time I see this episode, and every once in a while I'll just put it on YouTube just to watch it. I'm just sitting in silence and just appreciating everything that is happening on screen. I'm not exaggerating. No,
I get the YouTube part because I do that a lot. Like, I'll think of a specific part of a movie or show, and I'm like, I want to watch that scene. So I'll go on like YouTube and I'll type words. Sometimes things are in the scene, and I'm like, this word and this word, this line of dialogue. Yes, I should be able to find it. And it usually works.
Is there anything like that for you? Like, what was the last time you did it? If it's not too embarrassing to say.
Okay, so there's this movie, it's like an early 2000s movie called Center Stage. And it's about like ballet, like this dancers in New York, this ballet dancers in New York. And I was obsessed with that movie when I was like 7 or 8. Like I would watch it a lot. And they're basically in school. So one of the last parts of the movie is like the final exhibition, like the final show that they do at the end of the year. And I wanted to watch it so bad. But I was like, I don't know where the fuck I can watch that movie. I will probably have to rent it. I'm not gonna do that. So I just put like Center Stage Final Dance, and I watched it like at 3 a.m.
Well, that makes total sense to me, because I'll put on this scene every once in a while just to remind myself how amazing it is. I think there's a lot of scenes with Samurai Jack that can do just that. Like in the very next episode of this show, Jack goes into a mecha robot samurai and fights a giant robot. Like, this show is amazing. This is just such a good show. They basically use the premise of it to just come up with a cool idea, some cool action scenes that they want to do, some cool set pieces, and then just put it. They created a world where literally anything can happen, and just did it whenever they were up for it, and it was just super enjoyable for that. Do you have any like final thoughts about this episode or this show I know you took notes.
I mean, my first note is Jack is fucking ripped. I wish I was joking right there. Then no dialogue. Like, that was a big part of the episode for me. The black and white scene, and the juxtaposition with the sun setting, that was beautiful. And then the last shot of the episode when the kid hugs him. That part was beautiful too.
And again, no dialogue. Jack just walks out in his robes, and the kid is there waiting for him, and he sees that he's alive, and he goes to hug him in gratitude.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful.
This is so random, but you know what the episode reminded me of? What's the fucking name of this movie? It's not the Time Machine. Is it the Time Machine? The one with Guy Pearce?
Yes.
Is it the Time Machine? Okay. When he goes like to like the last, basically like the last place he goes, that's this society that's kind of like
with the Morlocks and the
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it reminded me, and I think the only reason it reminded me of that because he like saves these people, and there's like the woman and the kid. That's honestly the only reason it reminded me of that. But as I was watching it, I was like, oh, I haven't watched that movie in a while. It's probably time to watch it.
It's worth it. Don't watch that one. That's not a good one.
I love that movie.
Why?
I love it. Like that is up there with like some of the movies I like rewatched a lot growing up.
Just read the book. You read a lot of books.
I'm not gonna read the book. I'm not gonna read the book. I don't have the patience for that. Reading words, not me anymore. Well, I do read a lot.
The only thing I really remember about the Time Machine was the leader of the Morlocks. That wasn't Jeremy Irons, was it? The monster, the guy that played the monster. I know Orlando Jones is in it. As the library. Yeah.
The Time Machine. No, it's not the 1960. I'm just gonna go Guy Pearce. I'm just gonna do this the easy way.
You probably would have been better off watching the 1960 version of the movie than watching.
Honestly, I really loved that movie. Like, I'm not even joking. I really, really loved it.
I did read the book, which I'm kind of proud of.
Yeah, it is Jeremy Irons.
It was Jeremy Irons.
It was Jeremy Irons. Felix Fair had a moment.
He makes such weird choices.
So yeah, basically going back to the episode, I really enjoyed it. I'm definitely gonna watch the show, all of it at some point. I was planning to do that for this episode because when you said that you wanted to talk about it, I was like, okay, I feel like I need to watch the whole thing. But then I remembered that I don't have time because I work like 12 hours a day. So I didn't watch it, but I did do a lot of research about it and like read a lot. And went on Wikipedia, which is research.
No, yeah, this episode, I mean, obviously it's one of my favorites. It's why I wanted to talk about it. Other episodes that I think are really significant, ones that I can't get out of my head are like, Jack versus the Ninja. Then there's Jack versus Mad Jack. Jack and the Scotsman was a really good one. And and if anybody listens to this gets a chance to check out the season 5 stuff, like, it definitely gets more violent. One of that, it's not really, it gets very much less kiddie for the final season, but it was in a world where we were so ready for a Samurai Jack movie to finally end the show. Like, getting a whole season out of it was just almost kind of worth the wait. I have the Samurai Jack board game if anybody ever wants to play with me.
I do. If I ever leave my house again, we can play that.
We'll play that, yes, for sure. Anna, if people want to follow you online or see if you're doing anything, where can they find you?
First of all, I don't know why anybody would want to do that. but my Twitter is Montes Anna. That's MONTESANA. And honestly, I just talk a lot about politics, and I live tweet the movies that I watch at 3 a.m. on HBO. For example, the riveting occasion where I watched Requiem for a Dream and then got so depressed I didn't sleep anymore. So, yeah, that's and then my Instagram doesn't matter. But yeah, that's my Twitter where I spend a lot of time.
Follow her at those things. Go vote while we're all talking about politics. It
Please
is almost
do
voting
that.
time for everybody. And it's even voting time for some people right now. So
yeah.
vote.
If you live in Miami, you are already getting your vote by mail ballot. Remember that needs to be turned in before the election or election day. There are sites to do that. And if you don't live in Miami and you don't live in Florida, because the deadline to register to vote is going to be way before this episode is out, you can still check, because there's a lot of states that have same-day voter registration and same-day that you can just change your address if you have an issue or something. So definitely do that and definitely vote.
Yeah. At the time of this recording,
person.
I got my ballot yesterday, and I will be mailing it in tomorrow. If that seems like a good idea. If not, I'll probably just turn it into somebody. But thank you, Anna.
Love
you very much.
Love you
this
very
was so
much.
much fun.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on talking garbage.
That's yeah,
making
awesome.
no sense.
And all right, that's what we do. That's what we're here for. All right, folks, goodbye. Let's go into the outro.
Back to the past and alright, Jack. Gotta do that. Back to the past and alright, Jack. Check. Gotta do that. Check.
And that is episode 10 in the bank, folks. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks so much for Anna for being on the show. She's one of my best friends. Definitely going to have her back one of these days to talk about maybe a subject of her choice. Hey, what do you know? Maybe we'll release that lost episode about Ocean's 11. If you guys want to hear about it, let us know. If you do want to leave feedback about the show, go to iTunes, leave a review, give us 5 stars, help other people find the show. Leave a review on whatever podcatcher you happen to be using. iTunes probably works best because that's like the main feed for everybody, but I'm not hating here. This is for you. This is a community driven show. Whatever you use, that is the best way to use it. The best way to get this podcast spread around is through word of mouth, through telling your friends, telling your enemies, whatever it takes. Just keep that in mind. This is a community driven show. If you want to be on the show, there is officially a Google form under the contact information where you can fill it out, let us know your idea, apply to be on the show. If you have an idea for your own podcast that you just want to test out, if you want to host your own version of like a little game show, if you just want to geek out about a specific subject that you don't usually get a chance to geek out on, this is the show for you. This is a community-driven podcast, and you guys are the community. Other places to send feedback, you can reach out to me directly. I am at @ChrisRivero on Twitter and Instagram. You can also send emails about the show to inmydefensepodcast@gmail.com. Keep us up to date on how you're feeling, and thank you guys so much for listening. I will see you next week with another geek on the In My Defense podcast.
Check.